Hi everyone and welcome back. For today's video we are going to be working with clay, but the only problem is I don't have the colors that I need. I had ordered some, but unfortunately I'm still waiting for it to arrive, but that's okay. It's nothing that a little bit of gesso can't fix. Anyway, we are going to be creating some Valentine's jewelry since it is February. So here I have my jewelry making kit. I also have a few different little cutouts we can use, like these cowboy boots here. And then I have this little voodoo doll with a heart in the center. I thought that would be perfect. I have 3 different sized hearts here. I also have some circle cutouts. And then of course I have some gold leaf that we can use as well. And then I have a few of these barrettes, so I think I'm going to make something with those. And I also have these little stamps here. And I have some magnets as well. So let's go ahead and get this all cleaned up and let's get started. So the first thing that I am going to do is knead this clay to help remove any air pockets, and it also just helps make the clay more pliable and easier to shape. And once I get that all done, I'm going to start rolling my clay. And unfortunately, I don't have one of those fancy pasta machines that some people have that make it more even. So I'm going to try using these nail files and hope for the best. Yeah, it's still looking a little too thick, so I think I'm going to swap out the nail files and maybe try layering these magnets and see how that goes. So for my first set of earrings, I want to create kind of like a knitted texture look. So I'm going to use my clay extruder here, and it actually comes with about 20 different metal discs to create different designs. So what I'm going to do is fill this up with my clay, and then I'm going to twist it the opposite way to extrude it through those little holes. And it's going to kind of turn the clay into a bunch of little strings. And then I'm going to take a couple of those strings and twist them together. And then I will lay them across my slab of clay to get that texture that I'm looking for. I accidentally twisted this one a little too much in some spots, as you can see right here. So you do have to be careful and try your best to twist it as even as you can. So I'm just gonna try again. I feel like that one looks a lot better than the first one. And now I'm just gonna make a bunch more of them and lay them down. All right, and now I'm just gonna kind of clean up the sides a little bit, and then I'm going to take my largest heart shape and I'm gonna start cutting out the clay. All right, and now I'm just going to go in with my smallest heart shape to create the tops of these earrings. All right, and I actually don't need all of these ones, so I'm gonna take away this one, and now I'm gonna use my little tool here to create the holes in them that I'll need for when I go to assemble them. And it's just easier to put the holes in them now before you bake them rather than trying to drill holes into them and risking them cracking. Anyways, now I'm just gonna roll some more clay out really quickly. And for my next set of earrings, I'm going to take my largest heart shape mold again and cut that out, and then I'm going to use my smallest one and cut a heart shape out of the center of that one and use that as the top part of this earring. They're looking a little wonky, but that's okay. That's the fun thing about art, is you can just experiment and have fun with it and just learn how you can make it better. All right, and now I'm just gonna cut out a bunch of different hearts and kind of just wing it and, figure out different designs as I go. But once they're actually all baked, that's when I'll officially decide on like the different colors and designs that I wanna use. But yeah. All right, and now that I have a few earring designs made, I'm going to roll up my clay again and cut out some more heart shapes, so then that way I can use them to make a cute little barrette. And then with the leftover clay, I'm just gonna cut out some more little heart shapes and maybe use them to create some studs. And now, what we've all been waiting for, this little guy. So I ran out of the gray clay, so I'm gonna try using this black one. Yeah, these clays are pretty old and the black was already open, so it's pretty dried out. So I think I'm gonna have to switch over to the blue. Also, I am going to lay some saran wrap over this because I heard that it really helps the clay from getting stuck in all those little nooks and crannies on these cutters. And I know some people like to use flour, but every time I use flour, I just make a huge mess. So I'm just gonna stick to the saran wrap method. Also, that first one kind of came out a little funky looking, so I'm gonna try again. Here, actually, I'll show you a close-up. This one on the left, its eye got pretty deformed looking, so we're probably not gonna use him, but I am gonna cut out a few more because I do wanna create a few sets of earrings with them. And then I think I'm gonna turn these little guys into some magnets. And then I'm also gonna cut out some more hearts to put at the top of these little guys just to give it more of a Valentine's feel. And now we're going to work on the boots. Again, I'm just gonna lay my saran wrap down and cut it out. And oh, I didn't get it pressed down hard enough, so I'm just gonna use my little tool and cut it out. Here we go. And now for the other one. Oh yeah, that one came out much easier this time. And this one actually looks better than that one, so I think I'm gonna try that one again. That one looks a lot better, so I'm gonna use this one instead of the other one. And then of course, I'm gonna add my little holes at the top. And then I'm also going to cut out some hearts for the top of these as well. And I'm gonna cut out a few extra hearts just in case, and just to try to use up the rest of the clay. But yeah, this is what it looks like above the boots. And now that we are officially done creating all the different designs, I can now go ahead and go put them in the oven. All right, and now that they are all baked, the next step is to cover them all in gesso, so that way it makes it easier to paint over. Oh, and I'm going to act like that did not just spray all over my face and clothes. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started on that because I know that it's going to be a very long process. But you don't need to worry because I'm not gonna make you suffer through all of that. I'm just gonna show you me gessoing a few pieces so you kind of know what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna completely fast forward it because there's like 60 different pieces, and even though some of them are small, I had to cover both front and back with 3 different layers. So it took about a good 4 or 5 hours for this to get done. So yeah, I probably should have just waited to receive my clay in the mail instead of doing it this way, but it's all right. And now that everything is all gessoed up, we can get to the fun stuff. So I'm going to start with the boots here, and I created a little paint palette here, and I'm going to use these two because I added glitter to them, and I just thought it would be really fun to make some white glitter boots, and then I'm going to use the pink glitter for the hearts and the inside designs on the boots as well. All right, and now that I'm done with the boots, I think I'm going to move on to these little guys, and I'm gonna paint one purple, and then I'm going to paint the other one blue because I kind of want to make them like little girlfriend, boyfriend, I guess. And these are the ones that I'm going to turn into little fridge magnets. And I'm just doing the base coat for right now. Once they dry, later on I'll go back in and add the line work. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the set of 3 heart earrings. And I'm thinking for the top layer, I want to do gold leaf, and then the middle red, and then the bottom white. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, and now I am going to go over the last two hearts with my Mod Podge to help the gold leaf stick to them. Now it's been a while since I've used this. From what I remember, it is quite messy, so I guess we're about to see how this is gonna go. Please excuse my daughter's hands because, well, as I've stated before, I am a full-time stay-at-home mom, so that's unfortunately gonna happen throughout the videos. But now you know why I do mostly voiceovers. Otherwise you would be hearing lots of crying and screaming and just silly sounds in the background. But yeah, I try my best to work around her schedule, but I'm on toddler time. Hopefully you still enjoy watching my videos with or without the presence of my little angel over there. Anyway, this gold leaf is extremely messy. I probably should have waited to do all the gold leaf at the very end, but it's a little too late now. Also, I made the biggest mistake by laying the gold leaf flat onto the silicone mat because I have absolutely no idea how I'm even going to get it off. It is pretty stuck on there. So yeah, I feel like through most of my crafts, I'm always telling myself lesson learned, because there's like never not a mistake that's made or a moment where I'm like, oh man, I should have done this instead, but it is what it is. That's a good motto to live by if you ask me. Anyway, I'm also going to apply gold leaf to these guys because, well, they're just kind of funny looking. So, I mean, maybe the best way to make them look better is by adding some gold. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, and then I think I'm also going to add some gold leaf to these smaller hearts and create some cute little studs. Here's a little bit of a close-up for you. Hopefully you can see that. Now we are officially done with the gold leaf, and now I'm gonna get it all cleaned up. So I definitely wasn't able to get the gold leaf off of my mat, so we're just not gonna be using that anymore. Anyways, the next set we're going to be doing are these ones right here. The top ones will be pink, the bottoms will be black, and the middle will be white with pink and black polka dots. So let's go ahead and do that. And before I paint the other hearts black, I'm actually going to grab these ones over here and paint them pink as well. That way I don't have to re-clean the brush to paint these ones later on. And then while the white ones dry before putting on the polka dots, I think I'm going to pick out a few other sets that I might want to paint black as well. Like maybe these ones can be black with red or pink letters. Or maybe these little guys, I can paint these ones black and then have the centers be red. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then while those dry, I'm going to paint these little guys. And I think I want one set to be black, and then maybe I can create a rainbow effect with them. And then for this set, I'm going to paint them light pink, and then their lines can be black. And then I'm gonna paint a few of the other hearts the same light pink color. And oops, I almost forgot to paint the black hearts for these guys. Anyway, this set, I'm gonna also paint light pink, but then I'll go back over it with white, and I'm gonna create like a plaid look. So yeah, I'm gonna paint the base for that and then wait for it to dry before I do that. And then these little guys, I'm going to paint red, and then I'll have their letters be white. And then these ones right here, I think it would be fun to create, you know, those little heart candies with the different pastel colors. So I'm gonna do that. And then for these little ones, I'm just gonna paint them red as well. Then I'm gonna use a few random colors on these leftover hearts. All right, and now I'm going to do the line work on these little guys. I feel like it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I feel like my brush isn't thin enough to get very precise lines, but really at this point all I can really do is just try my best and kind of clean it up as I go. Oops, I accidentally made his eye a little too dark, but that's okay. I'll just fill both of their eyes in with black, and then I'll use their colors to put a little dot in the center, and hopefully that'll look a little bit better. Yeah, that'll do. Anyways, now on to these guys. So for these ones, I'm just gonna choose a bunch of different colors to fill their stitches in with to kind of create like a rainbow look. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the more I fill these in, the freakier they're looking. Yeah, I'm not so sure about these ones. Again, I'm just gonna kind of clean them up the best that I can, but I'm really not a fan. I'm just gonna move those ones out of the way and start on these guys instead. And I'm gonna try to give them little eyelashes to make them more girly. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm gonna have to erase those because those look bad. So I'll get back to that in a second. I am clearly gonna have to clean these up a whole lot. Yeah, these little voodoo dolls were a lot tougher than I thought they would be. I definitely bit off more than I could chew with these. It's, you know, all a part of creating. You just kind of learn what you're good at and what you're not by experimenting, and little voodoo doll jewelry is not what I'm good at, but that's all right. Now that these are dry, I'm going to fill them in with my paint marker, and then I'm going to add the polka dots to these ones. All right, and just to kind of give you a better idea of how they're going to look when they're all put together, they're gonna kind of look like that. And now I'm just going to fill in all the letters on these other ones. So I thought the dotting tool would be a little easier, but it's actually too thick, so I'm switching back over to my paintbrush, and then I'll fix the other X here in a second. And now just to do the little touch-ups, and this X looks so much better now. And yeah, now I also decided that I'm going to go over these little guys with my paint because I felt like the paint marker wasn't as vibrant. And then I'm gonna give these guys a second coating. And I'm just gonna clean this up a tad and then fill in the rest of these letters. Play your own game. Play your own game. You like to play your own game. Play your own game. Play your own game. You like to play your own game. Baby, time showing who you are. All right, and now I'm going to go over these ones with the plaid. You can kind of see it. I do think these hearts are a little too small to give it the effect that I really want, but overall it's still okay. All right, and now that I am finally done painting everything, I can start putting the jewelry together, but I am only going to show me putting a few of the pieces together because I don't think you want to sit here watching me struggle for as long as I did. Anyway, I am going to use the silver for the boots, but I did want to use the gold for some of the others, but as you can see right here, the little gold loops are so much smaller than the other ones. And even with the bigger ones, I really struggled. So I'm not sure if my clay is just still way too thick or if these loops were just not meant for this kind of thing. Maybe there's better ones out there. I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, I may or may not have gotten a little frustrated while doing this. And honestly, it probably didn't help that I had to re-poke through the holes that I had already created before baking them since the paint kind of filled them in. And really quickly, I just wanted to show you that unfortunately these ones broke when I had tried drilling holes into the bottoms because I forgot to create some before baking them. But that's okay because I created these ones instead and stamped the words "Be Mine" into them, and I'm going to paint them the same colors, and instead of earrings, I'm going to turn them into a barrette. And now I'm quickly going to do a second coating, and now I'm going to fill in the letters. All right, and now we can start putting the hair barrette together. And unfortunately, it looks like I made too many hearts, so we're just going to leave the two end ones off, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna get these all glued down. All right, and here is all of our finished jewelry. So I had to turn this one into a hair barrette as well because those ones were just way too thick. And then I added some bows on these little guys. And then I added the magnets to these ones. And then here is a closer look of some of the gold leaf jewelry. These ones are still not the best, but that's okay. And then I like these little guys. I think they're super cute and just basic. Trying to get a little closer for you. I know it's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry. Also, these ones are still pretty freaky to me. Those were definitely a fail, but that's okay. My favorite is actually this clip right here. Here's a little bit of a closer look for you. Yeah, so if I learned anything from this, it would be to make sure that I have all of the proper tools and supplies needed to make this a lot easier. I definitely could have saved some time by not having to gesso everything. But overall, I still had fun trying something different. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all have a lovely Valentine's Day. And please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when I share my next video.